It first flew in 1974. It was designed for a Cold War that ended 30 years ago. It has been declared obsolete at least 3 times by analysts who should have known better. And yet right now, in 2026, over 25 nations operate it. More than 4,600 have been built. Waiting lists for delivery stretch years. Countries at war are desperately negotiating for it. And in the skies above Ukraine, its arrival is being treated not as a routine equipment transfer, but as a potential turning point in the war. This is the F-16 Fighting Falcon, the most exported fighter jet in history, the aircraft that was never supposed to last this long, and somehow became more relevant with every passing decade. Today we answer the one question everyone keeps asking. Why, after 50 years, is the whole world still waiting for this plane? To understand why the F-16 matters, you have to understand the disaster it was designed to fix. The Vietnam War broke American air power's confidence. The U.S. Our Air Force entered that conflict believing that the age of the dogfight was over, that missiles had made close-range aerial combat obsolete. Modern jets were built to carry nuclear bombs and long-range missiles. Maneuverability was sacrificed for speed and payload. Gun armament was removed from some designs entirely. Then American pilots started dying. Against nimble North Vietnamese MiG-17 and MiG-21s, the complex heavy F-4 Phantom had a kill ratio that shamed the Air Force establishment. Pilots were surviving missile shots that should have killed them, and finding themselves in turning, twisting, close-range fights their aircraft weren't built for, and their training hadn't prepared them for. The United States, the most technologically advanced air power in history, was struggling to dominate the skies over a developing country. The response came in 2 forms. First, the establishment of Top Gun, the Navy's fighter weapons school, designed to retrain pilots in the lost art of the dogfight. Second, a radical engineering project called the Lightweight Fighter Program, driven by a small group of engineers and pilots known informally as the Fighter Mafia, who believed American aviation had drifted fatally toward complexity and cost at the expense of the one thing that actually wins air battles: the ability to outturn, out-accelerate, and outthink the enemy in close combat. The result was the YF-16 prototype, a small, agile, single-engine aircraft with a revolutionary fly-by-wire control system, a reclined pilot seat that helped pilots withstand higher G-forces, and a bubble canopy that gave near 360-degree visibility. When it flew for the first time on February 2nd, 1974, technically an accidental first flight during a high-speed taxi test, it was immediately clear this was something different. The F-16 could pull 9 Gs. It could sustain turns that left heavier aircraft struggling behind it. Its thrust-to-weight ratio was close to 1-to-1, meaning it could essentially fly straight up without losing speed. In the hands of a trained pilot, it was the most maneuverable combat aircraft on Earth. The F-16 that entered service in 1978 and the F-16 that Ukraine is flying today share a name, a basic airframe, and almost nothing else. This is the secret to the F-16's longevity. It was designed from the beginning not as a finished product, but as a platform, a foundation that could be continuously upgraded without replacing the entire aircraft. The airframe is robust enough to accept new electronics, new radars, new weapon systems, and new engines that its original designers never imagined. While Russia spent decades trying to develop the Su-57 as a generational leap and largely failed, the F-16 simply kept evolving inside its own skin. The modern F-16 Block 70/72, the current production variant, carries an APG-83 active electronically scanned array radar, the same type fitted to 5th-generation fighters. It can carry the full range of NATO precision-guided munitions, AMRAAM beyond visual range missiles, JDAM satellite-guided bombs, harm anti-radiation missiles that hunt and kill enemy radar systems. It has electronic warfare suites, data link systems for real-time battlefield networking, and targeting pods for precision strike in any weather condition, day or night. All of this fits on a platform with one engine, a relatively simple maintenance footprint, and a global supply chain that means spare parts are available on virtually every continent. For a small or medium-sized air force trying to modernize quickly and affordably, the F-16 is not a compromise choice. It is frequently the smartest choice available. In May 2023, Britain, the Netherlands, and France announced a fighter coalition to supply Ukraine with F-16s. The announcement triggered a response disproportionate to any routine arms transfer. Because for Ukraine, the F-16 was never just about numbers on a capability spreadsheet. Ukraine's Air Force had been flying Soviet-era MiG-29s and Su-27s, aircraft designed in the 1970s, maintained on dwindling spare parts, facing a Russian Air Force equipped with modern long-range missiles and advanced electronic warfare systems. The MiG-29 carries radar-guided missiles with a range of roughly 70 kilometers. The Russian R-77 missile it most often faces has similar range. The result is a symmetric, attritional air war where both sides take losses and neither achieves dominance. The F-16 changes that equation in three specific ways. First, the AIM-120 AMRAAM missile it carries has a range significantly exceeding Russian equivalents, enabling Ukrainian pilots to engage threats before being engaged themselves. Second, the AGM-88 HARM anti-radiation missile allows F-16s to systematically suppress Russian radar-guided air defense systems. The same systems that have been denying Ukraine free use of its own airspace and forcing pilots to fly low, slow, and exposed. Third, the F-16's ability to carry and precisely deliver Western precision munitions, the same bombs and missiles already used by Ukrainian ground forces, creates a fully integrated air-ground capability that Soviet-era aircraft simply cannot replicate. The need became especially acute as Russia escalated its use of glide bombs, Soviet-era iron bombs fitted with GPS guidance wings, dropped from aircraft flying inside Russian airspace where Ukrainian air defenses cannot reach them. These bombs have devastated Ukrainian frontline positions and cities. The F-16, with its beyond visual range missiles and superior radar, is the most practical available platform to hunt the Russian aircraft, launching them before they can release their weapons. As of April 2026, Ukraine has received F-16s from the Netherlands and Denmark. But deliveries from Belgium and Norway remain stalled by technical and organizational delays, with neither country having transferred a single aircraft despite promises made in 2023. The gap between what was promised and what has arrived remains one of the most frustrating political realities of the war's air campaign. Honest analysis requires acknowledging what the F-16 is not. It is not a fifth-generation stealth fighter. It has no internal weapons bay. Its radar cross-section is visible to modern Russian radar systems at ranges that give the enemy time to react. Against sophisticated layered Russian air defense, the S-400 system in particular, an F-16 operating carelessly is not invulnerable. Pilots must use terrain masking, electronic countermeasures, and tactical discipline to survive in that environment. It is not a silver bullet. Ukraine's experienced pilots need significant training time to transition from Soviet to NATO avionics, a process measured in months, not weeks. Ground crews require retraining. Logistics chains for NATO munitions and spare parts must be established. The aircraft does not arrive combat ready. It arrives with a training and integration debt that takes time to pay. And in the age of drone warfare it has entered, even the most maneuverable fighter faces threats it was never designed for. An FPV drone costs $500. A Shahed costs $20,000. Shooting either down with an AIM-120 missile costing over $1 million is not a sustainable equation. The F-16 is 50 years old. It has been called obsolete in every decade of its existence. It has fought over Iraq, the Balkans, the Middle East, Libya, and now Ukraine. It has been continuously reinvented, upgraded, and rediscovered by every generation of military planners who initially dismissed it. The reason is simple. In a world of limited defense budgets, complex threats, and rapidly shifting battlefields, the F-16 offers something that no amount of engineering complexity can fully replace. It does almost everything, almost everywhere, better than almost anything else at its price point. The world keeps waiting for this fighter because the world keeps needing exactly what it offers. A platform that evolves, a weapon that endures, a machine that was built in 1974 for a Cold War and is still being fought over right now in the skies above a burning continent. 50 years in, still flying, still relevant, still the one everyone is waiting for.